Hello from Jaipur, the third city of the Golden Triangle in India. It is the capital of Rajasthan, or as it is most famously known for, the Pink City. Jaipur is a must-visit spot in India. There is a reason why it is considered a UNESCO World Heritage City. And in this video I'll share with you how you can spend 3 days in this beautiful city and what the places are that need to be on your itinerary. You really don't want to miss out on this one. Hi, if we don't know each other yet, I'm Rita and at the moment I'm traveling through the beautiful country of India, exploring sites, cities and sharing all my impressions and best recommendations here with you. Our first stop here in Jaipur is the City Palace, which is so impressively beautiful and so photogenic. And in addition to your entry ticket, you can also hire a guide for 400 rupees, which on this occasion I can highly recommend, because this palace has not only a historical meaning, but also the current royal family lives here or uses this complex partially. And the place where the royal family is not accessible to the public, however parts of it are. For those you need a special ticket, which is quite expensive. But honestly, even without that tour, I think the palace by itself is so beautiful that you will be more than amazed with just that ticket. And you also get access to a couple of museums here on the complex, showing you the clothes that have been worn by the royal family in the past, as well as some weapons used. You cannot take pictures there, but it is very, very impressive. Let's go. Once the heart of royal affairs, Jaipur's city palace now echoes with the footsteps of tourists and whispers tales of its history through its ancient walls that were once the epicenter of royal life. Imagine stepping back in time as you wander through the same halls that were built in 1727, while having a blend of Mughal and European architecture surrounding you. Every corner of this palace tells a story of Jaipur's majestic past and beauty. It really feels like a magical place. We decided to take a guide for our tour of the palace, and don't regret it, because this palace, after all, is partially active and therefore not just any museum. Where else can you walk around an ancient yet active palace while learning all about its details? On the complex here, you can also buy some scarves and some local souvenirs, as well as some paintings. They are so beautiful. I'm not sure if it's a tourist trap, but every guide that you hire will eventually take you to these shops because they get a commission. So just keep that in mind when you want to buy something. There are some guards here on the complex, the official guards of the palace. They have the red turban and they offer you to take pictures with them, but then they show you like this basically. They expect that you pay them something for the picture, which, you know, if that's the price, just announce it beforehand and everyone can make their own decision in advance before taking the picture. After spending a good amount of time at the palace and enjoying the peacefulness of it, we headed straight out to the fun streets of Jaipur. Oh, hello there, little cows! Look at them! Oh no! Oh no! There are monkeys over there. And there are goats on the street, and cows, and billions of pigeons. It's amazing! Like, so much is happening at the same time. Like, look at that! Oh, don't poo on me! Don't poo on me! The description of Jaipur being a pink city is absolutely true. Everything surrounding us shines in this color and has this uniqueness to it. Back in the day, the entire city was painted in pink to welcome the Prince of Wales, later King Edward VII, during his tour of India. Pink, traditionally a color of welcome, was chosen to convey a message of hospitality and warmth to the visitors. This tradition has been meticulously maintained throughout the years. The local government now mandates that the buildings in the historic areas are kept painted in pink, preserving the unique visual identity of the city. Have you seen another city where all the buildings have the same color? Let me know in the comments below, because I want to visit it as well. Walking here in the city is way more fun. It's actually one of the first times we are walking through the city rather than just taking a tuk-tuk, and it's so cool. And as we are walking here through the streets, we are looking for a coffee. We desperately need some coffee or some chai before we continue the day. Our next destination is the Hawa Mahal, and the best way to see it is to visit one of the cafes opposite this site. Going up now to the cafe. Look at these steps, they are so steep, it's like climbing a mountain, but I'm excited for the view now. This is the one we are going to, the Tata Cafe. and lounge. Careful your head. I like the saying, most Instagrammable cafe on the stairs. Careful, don't step on the line. Wow. Okay, okay.
Just watch the wire.
Sure. Look at that view that we were welcomed with at this location. We switched up our choice of coffee houses. We are now in this cafe here called Wind View Cafe, and it has an insanely good view on the Hawa Mahal, or the Palace of Winds. And the naming of that actually comes from the point that there are so many little halls that created ventilation for the royal ladies that were sitting there and watching the streets and the traffic and everything happening through the little windows there. And honestly, I've seen it in so many pictures, but in person it's just even more beautiful. But actually the palace itself is huge behind it. Sitting here now with the view on the street and the building itself, or the palace, it just reminds me of how the women must have sat and looked on the traffic and what is happening in the city. And the same we are doing now, just with this view as well. Coffee and drinks, and now we ended up with a cheese paneer sandwich. Nice. And we are still watching the building and the sunset. We didn't initially intend to, but at the end witnessed the most beautiful sunset here over the Hawa Mahal. And retrospectively thinking about it, I definitely think coming for sunset to this location is a really good idea. And while we still have a little bit of daylight left, we are continuing on to the next destination. We had way more planned for day one in Jaipur, but unfortunately the sun has already set. It's gonna get dark very soon, and we have to do more things tomorrow, but that also means that planning your time correctly for Jaipur. It's such a unique place and you will want to spend probably more time than you have planned in every location. Just in time to witness the evening prayers, we visited an 18th century Hindu temple, and I love to sit and listen to the melody of the prayers. It spreads the calmness to everyone around. Here for the temple?
Yeah.
Every day? How often do you go?
Every day.
Yeah? Wow, that's
With my grandfather.
Well, nice to meet you. It's definitely time for dinner, and there's one dish that you have to try when you're in Rajasthan. We have walked up an appetite and we have come now to this restaurant where we're gonna try the Rajasthan Thali, which is supposed to be like a national dish or like a famous dish here in Rajasthan. And look at that, you have many small dishes, which I love because you get to try so many different things and so many different flavors. And look at that bread, freshly made for us. I'm excited. Okay, let's give this a try. I'm just gonna taste test a little bit. So what do we have here? Oh, spicy. Spicy. Okay. Lemony and spicy. I asked the waiter if it's spicy. He said medium spicy. He said medium for me or medium for you, and he said medium for him. That is not medium for me for sure. Okay, let's try this one. A bit like pumpkin, not sure. I have no idea what I'm eating, but it's really delicious. And that looks like... Jesus, it's so spicy. What is that? It's like sand, like it looks like sand. It's very sweet. Maybe it's a dessert. I have no idea, but it's delicious. Everything's delicious. With our bellies being very full, we are heading back to the hotel for a good night's sleep because tomorrow is another exciting day in Jaipur. Good morning from our second day in Jaipur. At that monument we have arrived at. Honestly, driving here and on the way here, you see that from the side, and it looks so impressive and majestic. Look at that. Today we are exploring the Amba Palace, and from here we will continue to some other sites. First things first, we have to climb this thing up. There are multiple ways in which you can go up to the entry of this beautiful place. And number one is you climb it up yourself by walking these stairs. And number two, you can hire a person with an elephant where you would be put on top of the elephant that carries you up the stairs. And I find that rather harsh more than anything, so I would totally not recommend to do it. And honestly, these stairs are not that high. It's also a good little workout, and the way up is not boring at all. You will definitely encounter lots and lots of things on your way up. As you climb up the stairs, you find lots and lots of things, from fruits to water to even sandals. Who's gonna buy sandals on the way up here? But you know, you never know. After we finished climbing, I think what it is, the top, we arrived at the square now. We still don't have tickets, so hopefully this is the place where we're going to buy them, because I'm not walking down to walk it up again. Ticket prices are 500 rupees per person, and you can choose to hire a private guide on top of that. So we decided to go with a guide, which on this occasion was really good. We learned a lot of details about this historical place, and it is huge. So I feel like if you don't take a guide, a lot of meaning is lost, because you do not have as many signs here as you would have in some of the other sites. However, you can also rent an audio guide here, and I've seen a lot of people walking with that, so that seems to be working as well. I guess it really depends on if you feel like you have a connection with a guide or not. The one we had was like awesome. He gave us the facts very precise way and exactly like we wanted, gave us lots of time for pictures as well, so that was great.
In this flower, possible to see two cobra head, two snake, two cobra head, trunk of elephant, a fish, tail of tiger, crab, lotus, and the scorpion.
So cool here. I feel like we will continue climbing for a very long time here. Everything goes up and up and up. And actually, this palace was used by the royal family beforehand. Yesterday we visited the city palace, but that used to be their residence before. A little bit of history, shall we? The Amba Palace is one of the most famous fortresses in India and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is renowned for its majestic look, blending different architectural styles. The Mirror Palace is one of the most famous parts of the palace. Its walls and ceilings are covered with beautiful mirrors and colored glasses, which create stunning reflective effects. That one here used to be a winter palace, with the light coming in from the windows and then the mirrors being kind of a reflection for it, so for the heat to stay in. Found a really cool picture idea here with the reflection of the mirror. Looks cool, doesn't it? We now also see the summer palace, which is on top of the winter palace, smartly, because there is more airflow basically in that upper building. Pretty cool. And then they had this garden structure over here as well, and another palace. That is a lot of palaces to live at for one family. The palace also has a layout where a cool climate is artificially created by winds that blow smartly through the palace. Apart from its architectural marvels, the palace is situated on a hill and offers panoramic views of the Mawata Lake and the surrounding area. Super nice, so many cool spots here, honestly. The king here had two wives, one Persian, one Hindu, and they used to live here together, and the cultures blended, which is why the architecture here has elements of the Hindu culture and the Persian culture. And they even had two windows to sit and look on the yard here, one for the Persian and one for the Hindu queen. This is the buff.
These are two toilets here together for both the queens. Oh. Both the queens, two toilets together.
The jewelry of one of the queens was so heavy that she had to use a wheelchair to be transported around the palace, and that path right here was created for her to be wheelchair accessible. What is a big plus at this place is really the wheelchair accessibility. I mean, how many old palaces do you have that were initially built with a wheelchair in mind, and so it is quite accessible for people nowadays as well, which is amazing for me to see. As we walk around here, there are so many rooms and so many tunnels that you can explore by yourself and get lost a little bit in this palace. And I mean, how often can you do that? Usually palaces are very restricted for tourists or the areas that you can enter, but this one seems to be so open. Wow. The more we go, the more we find. We always enter something new and huge. It feels a bit like a labyrinth, like you keep walking and you always end up somewhere else, and it's massive inside, honestly. Now, I wasn't even joking about the labyrinth-style architecture here, because we did just get lost and couldn't find the exit, and we're walking in a circle until somebody else found us who was also lost and helped us find the exit together. As you exit the Amba Palace, you will find a coffee shop right here, which is super cool for a little bit of a breather and a little bit of a coffee break before you continue your hike down. And the view doesn't disappoint either. We saw the Amba Palace, we had coffee, we had a snack, and we are ready for our next sightseeing stop today, so let's go there right now. As we head down, we pass more sellers and street artists. Luckily though, the way down is way easier than the way up. There are also so many goats around the area. Do you know why? Do they belong to someone? Our time at the Amba Palace was truly amazing, but has come to an end. Our day though, by far not yet. We are heading to the next spot that is very nearby. Jaipur is such a natural beauty. We are searching a stepwell that is supposed to be here next to the Amba Palace, and honestly we passed like a temple and a few really cool shops where they hang like their souvenirs in the windows, and honestly like the buildings, everything around here is just lovely. That's the street we are trying to walk into right now, but there's a little bit of traffic. We are waiting out until the team of cows here passes. There's like a lead cow, she's like walking and showing the way to everyone, and all these guys are just following. Our next sightseeing spot is actually only 10 to 15 minutes walk away from the Amba Palace, and I really recommend to walk that bit because it was like a little walk through a village which was just an experience in itself and very beautiful. And here we are right now next to a stepwell, and I've seen so many pictures of it, but actually being here is mind-blowing. This is actually such a smart way of architecture. Basically, these steps reach every kind of level to the water, and this place used to collect rainwater, so people could walk down, take their water, do their things, and then come back up. Just the look around here as well, like, I mean, look, there's a temple behind me, there are mountains behind me, the sun is setting. It's just such a nice experience. We just found little pigs here, so cute. I don't know what animal number it is today that I saw. So today I have already seen some cows, some pigs, some goats, pigeons, dogs. I think a horse as well. That is a strong woman there. And this temple, which is across the stepwell, why is nobody talking about that? It's so beautiful, and there's no entry, there's no security guard. You can just literally come next to it, look at it, and I don't know, it's just so impressive. Like, all of India, and especially Jaipur, is just insanely mind-blowing. Look, there's like a baby temple and another goat. I am not freaking out by the monkeys. They can be quite dangerous if they attack you, so I'm just using the techniques I've learned in Thailand. Don't look them in the eye, don't run next to them, don't provoke them, don't touch them. Just normal. There is another temple here behind me, and then look on that side, just crossing the road. But look at those balconies. It feels like a really important building that is like not maintained or supervised, and it's just standing there. Like, this is the beauties that you can find if you just walk around a little bit and you come across this hidden gem. So our next stop is the Water Palace, and we're taking a tuk-tuk.
Take me away to some other place. Don't wanna wait.
behind me is the Water Palace, which is basically just a short stop in your itinerary to take some pictures, because you actually can't enter the palace. It's in the middle of this lake and you can just look at it from afar. And so when you either drive to the Amba Palace or drive back to the city, that's a good point to stop here and take a few pictures. But don't get me wrong, it is beautiful to look at it. It's just like a building in the middle of a lake. The quick stop is over and we are back in a tuk-tuk. I'm amazed by how traffic just flows. It's like you have 5-6 cars on a traffic light and everyone is going somewhere, everyone is crossing, everyone is turning, and it just flows. There are no accidents. How does it work? I don't know. Our next stop of the day is the Johri Bazar, where we are hoping to get some shopping done, or at least see what we can find. So far we have seen some beautiful saris. We have been offered a perfume made from flowers, and let's see what else there is.
Oh, my Indian summer.
I think this market is similar to Delhi, where each street or each section has its own theme. So at the moment we are kind of between the kite / diamond section / jewelry section, and lots is happening. All the traffic in one row with us walking as well. The honking never stops. I don't know what that is, but it looks delicious. But I feel like it's like fudge. Talking about delicious, it's time for dinner. Our dinner has arrived and it looks so yummy. I'm so excited to try it. But with that view, how can something not be good? I'm not the best food blogger because I almost finished my food, but before I fully finish it, I just wanted to say that the food is here. It's really good, and this place actually has a really high ranking compared to the other bars here, and a really good view. So if you're after food, the Tattoo Cafe is actually a really good choice. If you're just after drinks or, you know, just to see the view, then probably any of the other cafes will work. But the food here is really affordable and like so good. And with that thought, it's time to head to bed. Good morning from day 3 in Jaipur, and today we are gonna finish off the sights here in the city before we head off to the next destination. Today is all about exploring this fort, which name I sadly can't pronounce. There are so many monkeys everywhere, and I love when I see little baby monkeys. They are so cute. When they climb the trees, and look like how he's sitting there, like, where is my banana? The first stop here at the fort is a stepwell, and we've seen one yesterday. That was a square one. Here we have more of a circular shape, and it had the same purpose, basically to collect rainwater. And then you have steps with different levels so that you can reach the water at the level where it's at. This fort is set on hills around Jaipur and was built in 1734 by the founder of Jaipur. Designed as a defensive fort, it is famous for its extended wall that links it to the nearby Nahargarh Fort. The fort's architecture is a blend of Indian and European styles, with some rooms adorned with intricate murals. Today, this fort is a significant tourist spot, offering panoramic views of Jaipur and a window into its royal history. Every site that we have visited so far in Rajasthan just gives you those royal vibes, from the little details to the designs to the architecture, and everything is like accessible for tourists, which is amazing. Like nothing is protected against layers. I mean, there are some parts which are not open to enter, but overall it's just like you feel like you're going through royalty properties all day, every day. And as we come up here to the roof terrace, we see what we came for, which is to view over the city. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of fog today, so we don't have like wide vision, but we do see the city, and most importantly, we can hear it. It's like you hear the honking from here, and it just feels a little bit like watching everything happening while not being in the middle of it and just enjoying it. Nahargarh Fort is by far the place with the least amount of tourists I have seen so far, and you still have these really nice and photogenic rooms here, which, you know, I'm completely alone here, so I could spend a lot of time taking a really nice picture. The view from the top is really breathtaking and something unique. We haven't had such a high view in India yet. We are actually here during a time of prayer, and you can hear the prayers through the speakers up here to the top so clearly and so loud, and it's so beautiful. Also, if you want to get away from the city and the busyness of it, this is the place to come, because you are in nature, you're high up and away from the roads and the busyness of it all. And then you just take your tuk-tuk down or your car down and you're right back into it. With all our impressions, that's exactly where we headed to, back to the city center. As we exited the fort, we came across a vista point. You will recognize it by this red building structure that is next to it, and it's really just a couple of minutes away. From here you see the water palace as well as a bit of the city and the nature, and it's a really good vista point. So pretty. Came across another vista point right here. So as you go down or up to the fort, you'll find a couple of them, and it just gets closer and closer to the city and prettier with the water. Love it. And if you walked up an appetite, there are a couple of kiosks here. You can buy some drinks, some snacks, and even some cooking is being done here. So cool. Unfortunately, we don't have time to visit the Nahargarh Fort, which is another popular destination here in Jaipur, but they are close to each other, the two forts, so you can totally visit them on one day and in one go. In fact, there is a combined ticket for all three attractions, and you're gonna save a bit of money if you buy that combined ticket, if your plan is to visit all of them. Our time in Jaipur is sadly coming to an end. We really enjoyed this city, and if you enjoyed this video, please do give me a like or a comment or a subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video in the next destination here in India. Bye!